Ever feel like you're just stuck, trapped by your own thoughts? Well, what if I told you there's a psychological tool that can completely change your relationship with your own mind? It's a game changer, really. It's called cognitive defusion. And in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly what it is and how you can use it.
So to really get why this is so powerful, we need to start with a question I think we've all asked ourselves at some point. Why do those negative thoughts feel so real? Why is it so hard to just shake them off? Well, the answer lies in this really common mental trap that honestly, most of us fall into without even knowing it's there.
And that trap has a name. It's called cognitive fusion. This is that state where our minds just get completely stuck on a thought. So let's dig into how it works, and maybe more importantly, how we can break free.
Okay, so what is cognitive fusion? Imagine your mind becoming literally glued to a thought. It's not just a string of words in your head anymore. You actually fuse with it. It's the difference between having a thought and becoming the thought.
Let's take a really common one, right? A thought like, I always mess things up. When you're fused with that, it's not just a passing idea. It's not just a bad mood. It feels like a stone-cold fact. It feels like who you are. It feels like your identity.
And this right here is the absolute key. When you're fused, that thought stops being an opinion and it starts feeling like an undeniable fact. Your emotions, of course, they latch right on, your actions start to follow, and before you know it, that one single thought is shaping your entire reality.
Now, this whole fusion thing, it's not just a one-time deal. Oh no, it actually fuels the self-perpetuating cycle. It creates something we call the negative thought loop.
So here's how this loop gets going. It all starts with that one negative thought, right? That thought then triggers a pretty painful emotion. Maybe it's sadness, maybe it's anxiety. And to get away from that awful feeling, we react. We might avoid a challenge or pull back from something, and that reaction, well, it just seems to confirm the original thought was true, which leads to, yep, you guessed it, even more negative thoughts. And on the cycle goes.
Okay, and this right here, this leads to a really game-changing idea. We're always told to fight our negative thoughts, right? To stop them, to argue with them. But what if the thought itself isn't the real enemy? What if the real problem is the fusion, that act of getting so stuck to it? I mean, realizing that, it changes everything.
So if fusion is the trap, then what's the key to get out? Well, that brings us to the hero of our story today, cognitive defusion. This is the skill that's going to unlock that trap.
So cognitive defusion is, it's the total opposite of fusion. It's the skill of just taking a step back, creating a little bit of space between you and the thought, and just observing it for what it is. And what is it? It's just a bunch of words and images floating around in your head. It's not a command you have to obey, it's not a crystal ball predicting the future, and most importantly, it's not some undeniable truth about you.
And this is where the magic really happens. Look at this simple shift in language. Just going from I'm a failure to I'm having the thought that I'm a failure. It seems so small, right? But believe me, it is absolutely monumental. In that first statement, you are the failure. It's your identity. In the second, you're just the person who's noticing a thought. That tiny little gap, that's where all your power is.
Okay, so how does this one little skill actually break that big negative loop we talked about? Well, by practicing it, we start to unlock some seriously powerful benefits.
For starters, when you practice defusion, you get to notice your thoughts instead of just automatically obeying them. And you'll find that their emotional punch, it starts to get a lot weaker. This frees you up to make choices based on what you truly value, not just what you're afraid of. And over time, you build this incredible thing called psychological flexibility, which is basically the strength to handle tough thoughts and feelings while still moving toward what really matters to you.
Okay, this all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually do it, right? Let's get practical. It's time to open up the Defusion Toolkit and look at a few simple, easy tools you can start using, like today.
All right, tool number 1 is that phrase we already talked about. I'm having the thought that. Easy enough. Another one you can try, say the thought out loud but in a silly voice. I'm serious. It's really hard to take I'm a total failure seriously when you say it like a cartoon character, or you could try visualizing the thought. Just picture it written on a cloud, just floating on by in the sky. Heck, even just writing the thought down on a piece of paper can create that powerful distance just by getting it out of your head and looking at it.
All of these tools, they all lead to one profound and central truth. You are not your thoughts. A great way to think about it is this. You are the sky, and your thoughts are just the weather. The weather changes, clouds, storms, sunshine, but the sky, the vast open space, is always there. You are that space. You're the one who's simply aware of the thoughts as they pass through. You're the observer.
So, I'm going to leave you with a bit of a challenge. Think about that one thought for a second. You know the one, that sticky, repetitive thought that always seems to hold you back. Now that you have these tools, I want you to ask yourself, which thought are you going to choose to diffuse this year?